Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing very well. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Well, our live stream, 3 p.m. Sunday live stream. How are you doing? I'm so excited to talk about what I'm going to talk about. But actually, we are starting a new series now, and the new series is called Dive into the Psalms. Dive into Psalms. Yes, that's what we are going to start. This is a new series we are starting. And today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite Psalms of all the time, which is Psalm 46, verse 10, which is a famous verse. I think you all might be hearing about it, or you read about it, and it's a really famous psalm. So I'm gonna dive into the psalm. So today what I'm gonna dive into Psalm 46, verse 10, and let's see what does it say. um Great, I'm gonna read the psalm. Let's read that. It says, it's Psalm 46, verse 10. Says, he says, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. But what I wanted to talk about, and what it was in my heart today, was be still and know that I'm God. This is a Bible verse that has been talking to my heart for a long time, and one of my favorite Bible verses that I am really passionate about. And today I'm going to dive into what does it mean to be still. What does it mean actually to be still and know that who God is? What does it mean? So we're going to dive into that today. Cool. When I was reading this verse, it started to talk to me, and one thing I really, liked about this Bible verse, it starts with "Be still and know that I am God." And the context, I was doing research about it. The context of that, "Be still," wants to more say enough. And I was like, okay, what this verse is trying to tell me. And what I got as a reflection was, this verse is all about knowing that God is in control. This verse is all about us reminding ourselves that God is in control. And I'm going to go deeper into that. What does it actually mean that God is in control? But also, this Bible verse, I dig deeper into it, and I kind of felt like this Bible verse trying to tell me, actually, be still, know that I am God. It means going to in God's presence and spending time with God, get to know Him better, and having a deep relationship with Him, and also reflecting on who God is. This Bible verse is, I think it can be, we can relate to this Bible verse now, especially at these times of isolation and Corona. And I'm going to tell you why we can relate more to this Bible verse. But I think when I was basically reading this Bible verse, and I was like, what should I talk about this Bible verse? One thing I kind of took from this Bible verse was, this Bible verse is kind of telling us to stop everything that you're doing and let God work in your heart. It says, be still and know that I am God. Basically, this Bible verse is saying, stop everything that you're doing and let God work in your heart. Go into God's presence and let God help you. Let God spend time with God. And when also when I was reading it, I was kind of thinking about the word "be still," and I think more I started to dig deeper into that word, and I started thinking about that word was "be still," and know that I am God. Kind of um, what I took from it was, basically also means having a deep relationship with God, having a deep walk with God. And I was like, wait a second, let's dig more into this Bible verse. Let's see what does it mean. So beast, it's a small Bible verse, but I think it has a lot of meanings. It has a big meaning, and I think one of the biggest meanings is, stop whatever we are doing and let God to be in control of whatever we are going through. And I think one of the other things I was kind of, in this Bible verse, when I was studying the Bible, when I was reading it, it kind of what it meant to me was actually, if I'm going through hard times, giving the problem to God instead of me trying to solve the problem by myself. And this Bible verse is actually telling us, instead of relying on yourself, rely on God. Basically means be still, means stop worrying, stop being anxious, and stop being fearful. But saying that, it doesn't mean that we wouldn't experience any of these emotions. We will experience it. But I think what it means actually is, when we are experiencing those emotions, instead of us trying to overcome those experiences by ourselves, instead of that, letting God being controlling that situation, giving it to God, being still in God's presence to overcome the anxieties, worries, loneliness, any other emotions that you might be facing, and instead of those things controlling you, give it God those things. Let God to be in control, which I'm going to explore more what that actually means. And sometimes we are in on this run of our lives, like we are I'm going to explain that more. What does it mean is, we are living in a busy culture that everyone wants to achieve something. We are just so busy running in the treadmills of our lives that we want to do our thing, our own thing. And sometimes we might get really busy in that we might forget God. And I think this context of be still and know I'm God is actually taking a pause, and spending time with God. And also, sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves to achieve something, but sorry, um, basically, sometimes we try to achieve something, and we put a lot of pressure on ourselves with our own power, and we start to rely on ourselves, and we want to control things with our own thing. We want to control things by our own. And I think what this Bible verse is saying, is telling us, stop fighting and come to me. Be still and give whatever you are doing to me. Pause and spend time with me and rely on me. God tells us to rely on Him instead of relying on our own power. Instead of relying on our plans, this Bible verse is telling us to relying on Him only. Instead of going other places, we need to only go to Him, only Him, relying on Him. This Bible verse is telling us that be still and know that I am God. Actually, instead of us taking control of our lives, letting God be in control. Instead of doing my own thing, just, spending time with God. And I think be still and know that I'm God. For me, it means deep walk with God, and taking a pause in my life and spending time with Him for Him to work in my heart, and getting to know Him more. See, in this power says, "Be still and know that I am God." The part when it says, "To know that I am God," basically to understand God's character with relationship. And God, says, "Know that I am God." Actually, exploring who God is, and God's understanding God's character basically means, because know that I'm God. When it says know that I'm God, actually know who is God, reflecting on God's character. And God's character is a character that wants to spend time with us, wants relationship with us. So because of that, be still and know that I'm God basically means a deep walk with God, and spending time with Him in our daily lives. Whatever we are doing, it's good. Take some time aside for God to be still in His presence and let Him to work in our hearts. Also, be still equals trusting God as well. Trusting in God and letting Him to be control. I talked about letting him in control, but also if you want God to be in control, you need to trust him in that as well. You can't be like, oh God, you're in control, but I'm going to do my own thing. No, no. It says, this Bible verse tells us to stop controlling your life by yourself and let God, trust God to be in control of your life. Trust God with all the plans that he has. Give your plans to him instead of you trying to solve things by yourself, instead of you relying on yourself. And now we are in times of isolation. And now is a great time of actually you isolate yourself with God instead of, it's a great time for you to isolate yourself with God. And I think this is a great moment for all of us to be still and know that he is God. Our normal day-to-day life, we are so busy running towards the purposes of our lives. Instead of that, there's this picture that I have in my mind is like life is like a treadmill. And people run fast and fast and faster to achieve their goals and purposes by their own. But sometimes God wants us to stop running on treadmill and spend time with him and to actually talk to him and see what he wants us to do work in our hearts and trust in him and relying on him instead of relying on our own powers, because we ourselves are weak, but with him we are strong. So what does be still and know that I'm God means? It means God is in control and we are not in control. What does it mean? It means reflecting on who God is. And what else it means? It means having a deep relationship and walk with him and trusting him. So this is what this Bible verse is trying to telling us. So again, I'm gonna just summarize what I said. Be still and know that I'm God. What does it tell us? It tells us that actually stop controlling our life. Like we can't control our lives. We can't do things our own. So we need to let God to be in control. Second, stop relying on ourselves. Rely on God. And stop solving things by our own. Give it to him. Only him. And the fourth thing is having a deep walk with him, deep relationship with him. Because that will help us to know him and trust him more. Because trust comes from relationship. More relationship you have with someone, you trust that person more. And the same with God. More you have a relationship with God, more you spend your time with him, more you have a deep walk with him, more you go into his presence, you will trust him in more. So let's be still. Let's pause what we are doing. This I don't know, whatever it can be, like our things that stop doing what we are doing on our own, and let's trusting in him, being still and walking with him. So be still means God is in control. We are not in control. Relying on him, giving everything to him, and having a deep walk with him. That's what be still and know that I'm God means to me, actually. This was what I kind of understood from it. And and I mean, what this Bible verse talked to my heart was this. So yeah, be still and know that I am God. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. This is every YouTuber says. But make sure you share this video. I think now is a great time we can be still and know that God is God, and spend time with him. So it's great. It's going to be good if you could share this video with your friends, anyone you think needs to hear this message or talk. But yeah, next week we're gonna continue with diving into Psalms. Next week we have our amazing Paul Bogle. He's gonna talk. He's gonna give a talk on one of the Psalms. We don't know. It's a surprise which psalm it is. Yeah, write a comment here if you think which psalm it is. Well, have a guess. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you all soon.